In this vlog, I look at haunted churches across the UK. As ever, I'm sure that I've missed some important ones, but my list is somewhat lengthy. I've organised it geographically so you could follow this vlog as a tour of some of the UK's spookier sites. Knowlton Church, Dorset, a ruin situated within a prehistoric henge, is reputed to be haunted by a phantom horse and rider who passed through the walls, as well as a weeping woman, maybe a nun. St Barnabas, Isle of Wight. In 1980, two builders were repairing its tin roof. An elderly lady offered them a thermos of tea and asked them to return it to her address. The tea was cold and undrinkable. When they went to return it, they found that woman, who'd been a church warden, had died in 1977. St Nicholas Church, Pluckley, Kent, located in Britain's most haunted village, allegedly. This church is famous for a lady in white who haunts the nave and a lady in red found in the graveyard. The lady in red is said to be Lady Deering, who was buried in 7 lead coffins. She's reportedly searching for the graveyard for a still unborn child. The White Lady was a beautiful woman who haunts the Deering Chapel inside the church. Visitors also report strange knocking and flickering lights when the building is empty. Chapel Royal of St Peter ad Vincula, located within the Tower of London. This chapel is the final resting place of Anne Boleyn, whose headless spirit has been reported leading a procession of ghosts. All Hallows by the Tower, the oldest church in London, founded 675 CE, is haunted by an old grey-haired lady in Edwardian dress and a spectral cat. St James's, Garlic Hythe, London, home to old Jimmy Garlic, a naturally mummified body was found under the chancel. His shrouded ghost is said to walk the aisles. St Bartholomew the Great, London, founded in 1123. It's said to be haunted by its founder, Rahia, a monk who appears as a cowled figure near the altar. Borley Church, Essex, located near the site of the former most haunted house of England, Borley Rectory. This church has reports of a phantom nun and ghostly chanting. St Mary's Church, Ackenham, Suffolk, a grade 2 star listed building, medieval church associated with unsettling stories and local folklore. A legend says the devil sleeps beneath a broken tombstone here. Walking around the church 13 times anti-clockwise is said to summon him. A similar story that I used to repeat growing up in Condover in Shropshire. Holy Trinity, Blythburgh, Suffolk, the Cathedral of the Fenlands. During a severe thunderstorm, a massive black dog, Black Shuck, with fiery eyes, allegedly appeared, rushing through the church, killing 2 people, a man and a boy, and causing the steeple to collapse. The north door of the church features, according to tradition, scorch marks left by the hound during its demonic departure. The event occurred on August the 4th, 1577. Famously, on the same day, a similar attack at St Mary's Church in nearby Bungay, where more deaths were reported. I used to regularly drive past Holy Trinity, and its size certainly shocks in this remote area, but I was unaware of the Black Shuck. St Lawrence's Church, Buckinghamshire, known for its connection to the Hellfire Club and its founder, Sir Francis Dashwood. It sits near the Hellfire Caves, which are reportedly haunted by the maid Suki. A Rycote Chapel, a 15th century chapel in Oxfordshire, is reputedly haunted by at least 2 figures. A grey lady, rumoured to be Arabella, daughter of St Thomas More, and the ghost of Robert Dudley. The site, featuring Tudor history, reportedly hosts these spectres near the chapel and nearby a yew tree. St Mary's Church, Avonbury, Herefordshire. This ruined church has reports of joyous phantom sounds and organ music heard from the empty, derelict building. St Mary's the Virgin, Clophill, Bedfordshire, on which I've issued a full vlog. An abandoned ruined church plagued by stories of black magic rituals and devil worship, particularly after the 1961 grave destruction incident. Visitors report a hooded monk, tall dark shadows and a chilly feeling throughout the site. St Mary's the Virgin, Bottlesford, Leicestershire. The tomb of Francis Manners, the 4th Earl of Rutland, and his 2 children. The cause of death of the children is listed as witchcraft. St Botolph's Church, Skidbrook, Lincolnshire, known as the Demon Church. This isolated building has a dark reputation for paranormal activity and animal sacrifices reported in the late 20th century. A cowled figure is frequently reported roaming the grounds, which sits over the footings of an old abbey. York Minster, a naval officer who appeared to his sister to fulfil a pact made between siblings about the afterlife. I think almost everyone from England will have visited York Minster, but if you haven't, York is a great visit. Church of Christ the Consoler, North Yorkshire. In 1963, the vicar was photographing the church. A photograph showed someone in white shroud, maybe 8 to 10 feet tall. The church was built in 1870 and no other paranormal activity had been recorded before or since. St Mary the Virgin at the top of the 199 steps in Whitby, famous as a setting for Bram Stoker's Dracula and known for its spooky atmosphere and chilling tales. The Bargeist coach, a phantom-drawn carriage, is said to charge towards the church doors before vanishing. The ghost of Constance de Beverley, a nun punished for breaking her vows, is said to be heard screaming within the nearby abbey walls. St Mary's Church, Tintern, considered by some the most haunted in Wales. Visitors have reported a deep sense of foreboding, with apparitions captured in photographs, especially following a fire in 1977. The fire tragically claimed the lives of 2 young men. Visitors frequently report seeing dark, monk-like figures in the doorway and around the churchyard. Many explorers describe a heavy sense of foreboding, with some reporting feelings of being choked or touched by unseen forces. In the 1990s, local media branded it a satanic church of death due to its alleged rituals performed within the ruins. Tintern Abbey, whilst a ruin, this former Cistercian abbey is frequently listed amongst the most haunted sites in Wales, with reported sightings of monks. St Martin's Church, Cumioe, known as a crooked church due to its extreme non-alignment caused by a landslide. This 13th century church is often described as eerie. It's located in an area steeped in local lore. Bardsey Island at Ennis Enchly, known as the island of 20,000 saints. The site is steeped in spiritual history and legends of ghostly monks. Llandaff Cathedral and Cemetery, Cardiff. Dating back to the 11th century, this cathedral is surrounded by one of the most haunted spots in the capital. The Road of Death, a path behind the cathedral, was historically used to carry bodies to the graveyard, and it is said to be haunted by the spirits of those buried there. Sightings include hooded or faceless figures, soldiers and monks. Visitors have also reported the unsettling sounds of phantom children playing among the gravestones. I used to live close to Llandaff Cathedral when Llandaff was spelt with a single F, i.e. Llandaff, despite being populated by Channel Pedwar X staff, and I can honestly say that I was completely unaware of its reputation. Llanthony Priory in the Black Mountains, this remote 12th century Augustine priory, is as famous for its isolation as for its ghost. The most common report is the sound of spectral monks chanting in the ruins. The Grey Lady, a spirit known as the Grey Lady, is often seen near the bridge and gatehouse, believed to be mourning a child who drowned in a nearby moat. Investigators have reported doors slamming, windows opening on their own, and even furniture moving. Roton's Museum, or Peniel Chapel, Carmarthenshire. For those looking for a curated experience, this former chapel now houses hundreds of paranormal artefacts. Owned by researchers, it offers guided seances and investigations within the historic chapel walls. Visitors have reported hearing disembodied whistles and witnessing objects move during psychic evenings. St Govan's Chapel, Pembrokeshire, tucked in the limestone cliffs of the south coast, this 13th century chapel is steeped in legend. A legend says that a cleft in the rock mysteriously opened to hide St Govan's from pirates. You can still see the marks of his ribs in the stone. St Govan's magical silver bell was stolen by pirates, but angels supposedly returned it and encased it in the bell rock, which is said to ring when struck. Anna Peel Church, built in 1860 and abandoned in the 1960s. This site is frequently cited as the most haunted church in North Wales. St Mary's Church in Tallaclean, Anglesey or Anis Mon, is reputedly a haunted medieval church, located on a raised mound, believed to be the last remnant of a town destroyed by the plague. St Winifred's Well and Shrine, Holywell in North Wales, with a long history of miracles and pilgrims, providing a thin place atmosphere. I can thoroughly recommend a visit to the well and consider it one of the most atmospheric sites in the UK. Roslin Chapel, Midlothian, is haunted by a white lady from the St Clair family and a phantom barking dog. A ghostly monk has been seen praying at the altar in the crypt, sometimes accompanied by 4 phantom knights. A dark figure on a phantom horse is said to haunt the grounds and nearby Roslin Castle, occasionally seen by motorists on the road. Locals report hearing a ghostly dog barking on stormy nights and a child's voice emanating from the empty crypt. Greyfriars Kirk, Edinburgh. In the kirkyard is the Black Mausoleum of George Mackenzie, who persecuted and martyred Covenanters. He's believed to cause scratches and bruises to visitors. Greyfriars Bobby, the ghost of a local terrier, is said to guard his master's grave. Corstorphine Kirk, Edinburgh, the tower is allegedly haunted by the spirit of Beatrix Watson, an accused witch who died by suicide within the tower before her 1649 trial. Glasgow Necropolis is a vast Victorian cemetery built on a hill, known for its shadowy figures and eerie atmosphere. A local legend from 1720 tells of a man who saw a recently buried neighbour dance a jig with the devil in the churchyard, while the devil played bagpipes. A ghostly woman in white is said to float amongst the tombstones of the necropolis in the early hours. Cathedral House Hotel, located nearby. This is often called the most haunted hotel in Scotland, with reports of ghostly children and poltergeist activity, like chairs being thrown. Again, I can recommend a visit to Glasgow Necropolis, and like Bradford's Undercliff Cemetery, it's certainly an eerie sight. St Andrew's Cathedral, Fife. The ruins are haunted by a white lady who glides through the ruins and the haunted tower on stormy nights, a spirit seen for over 200 years. For over 200 years, witnesses have seen a woman wearing white gloves gliding through the grounds before vanishing into a square tower. A phantom monk is often encountered on the squares of St Rule's Tower, reportedly offering help to visitors. In 1868, stonemasons found a sealed chamber in the tower containing 10 well-preserved bodies, including a young woman dressed in white with white gloves. Elgin Cathedral, known as the Lantern of the North, these magnificent ruins host a tragic spirit. The ruins are reportedly haunted by the ghost of a young girl who was buried alive. Visitors describe seeing her wandering at the site with a face full of sadness. St John's Chapel, Skye, a site frequently featured in Scottish paranormal investigations associated with ghostly sightings. A ruin from 1838 on the shores of Loch Carroy. This site is frequently sighted by ghost hunters, with visitors reported an oppressive silence, feeling of isolation, and spooky occurrences. St Nicholas's Church, Carrickfergus. This ancient church, dating back to 1182, has two primary reported spirits. An unidentified clergyman is often seen within the church walls. A mysterious grey lady who's been spotted by visitors. Down Cathedral, Downpatrick, as the reputed burial place of St Patrick. This cathedral has a long-standing supernatural ties. A phantom monk is said to haunt the area near St Patrick's grave, appearing to guard the sacred relics. Newtonard's Priory, a phantom bell is said to toll at midnight, rung by a ghostly monk in a stall. Friars Bush Graveyard is one of Belfast's oldest graveyards. It's rumoured to be haunted by a friar from the 17th century. St Patrick's Church, Donegal Street, Belfast, is a site of a poignant priest story. The ghost of a priest who died mid-mass was said to appear at the altar, asking for help to complete the service. Legend claims a brave individual eventually helped the spirit finish the mass, after which the apparition vanished and was never seen again. St John's Church, located near Newcastle. This location is associated with sightings of a black dog with glowing eyes, which is often tied to local spectral legends. Bonamargry Friary, Ballycastle, founded in 1485. This ruined friary is reputedly haunted by black nun Julia McQuillan, who lived there in isolation during the 17th century. Julia was a reclusive 17th century prophet, according to folklore, who was murdered on the stairs to the upper floor. A local legend says that you can summon her by walking around her grave 7 times clockwise and 7 times counterclockwise before placing your hand through a hole in the gravestone. A figure in a black robe is frequently reported on the stairs or peering through upper windows. Downhill Demesne, Coleraine, though technically a library, this former private chapel of the Bishop of Derry is rumoured to have puddles of blood that appear on the floor and then evaporate quickly. As St Columba's Cathedral, Derry, the spirit of Bishop William Higgins, who disturbed tomb, led to phantom footsteps and organ music. Following the 1867 relocation of Bishop William Higgins' tomb, staff reported hearing ghostly footsteps in a locked gallery, seeing apparitions and hearing the organ play on its own. Apparitions were later caught in photographs or seen in the choir area.